Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to my live stream. I just thought I would do this out of the blue. The main reason I wanted to do this live stream was to go over some of this viewer mail that's been accumulating for a while now. And I always kind of struggle with what to do with viewer mail because I've tried different things. I've tried, incorporating it in the show. I tried doing it on shorts, and none of that really feels right. So I thought, hey, I'll just do it on a live stream, and then people watching this in the future can see all of that. And so I guess I'll just start there. Plus, I want to go over a couple of things that I'm doing with the channel. And I also want to say hello to everybody who joined in early. Wow, there's a lot of people from Europe who joined in, from Norway and Germany, and that's great to see all of that. And my yard is coming along. Those of you who have been kind of keeping up with what's going on there, is I'm having my whole yard landscaped after 20 years. We finally decided to get it done right. So basically we kind of got rid of everything, started with a clean slate, and now we've got a new path. We have a new patio. I got rid of the deck, which was also probably like 1,000 years old, at least. It was just completely rotting apart. So I think it's better to have a patio, at least right now. I'm at that place in my life where a patio makes more sense than a deck. It's a lot less maintenance to it. So we had pavers put in there. And the other thing we did is we got rid of the very last little bit of grass lawn that we had. It was all kind of dying anyways. I wasn't watering it, and so most of the year it's just dead. But I think more and more people are just starting to get rid of lawns. I think lawns are good for if you have little kids like to play in lawns, but other than that, they just kind of become more of a pain and kind of wasted space. So what we're doing is this landscaping with like natural indigenous plants and low water. Since we're in a drought here, they don't require much to water and all that sort of thing. But I'm going way off on a tangent here. I wanted to talk about the mail I got. First of all, some people send me mail and there's no note in it. I just don't understand how that happens. Maybe they intended to put a note in there, but they didn't. And if it comes directly from Amazon or something, then I don't know who sent it at all. So I got a couple things like that. And these are really nice. Somebody sent me some bottles, I assume for glue or whatnot. And these are just these kind of, I guess you would call those like sort of mustard bottles, but that was really nice. And they also sent me this little sander at the same time. Again, thank you. I don't know who you are. The other one, and this was the funniest thing I got, was I had this big package. I think it was from Amazon. Opened it all up, and there was one screw in that focus. And it's one of these kind of Allen screws. The only thing this fits on that I have is my miter gauge. There's an adjustment on there that uses these, but I wasn't missing any, so I'm not sure what this means. I'm pretty sure that there's a joke in there. Oh, wait. Hey, are you guys hearing sound all right? Oh, there's no sound. Oh, there is sound on the stream. Sorry. Okay, good. One thing I'm doing is I'm having to do this alone this time because Wyatt's out of town. Usually he helps me out with this, so it's really difficult for me to do this and read the comments at the same time. I don't know how people do that, really. It's really tricky. Okay, thank you. I'm glad the sound is working good, because I would hate to have done that entire rambling on and on about my yard and then just have it muted. So anyways, mystery screw. Thank you who sent me this screw. I'm going to save it until I hear from you or whoever. Everybody has an idea why I got this in the mail. Beats me. I don't know. So I also wanted to thank, I got this note from Meisel Hardware. Okay, this is Paul. I think his name is Paul. Yeah, Paul Meisel. So he has one of these like old school catalog mail order things where you can order plans. There's lots and lots of them. I haven't seen one of these in years. I remember these back at least 20, 25 years ago. You used to get these in the mail. Apparently he's still doing this stuff. And so he actually sent me, this is what plans look like too, is you get an actual hard copy, enormous, look at that, set of plans. That's pretty cool. So this one's for, you know, a rocking horse. I don't know. I thought that was really cool that these people are still doing that kind of thing. In some ways, that's easier than looking at a PDF, I guess. Oh, and speaking of kind of old school things, I got this is from Chris Sims from Australia, who has a band called Cookie Crumbs, and he sent me a CD. I don't know if I have any way of playing it. It's called Cookie Crumbs. So I think I have a DVD drive on my computer on my desktop. So I might try listening to it on there. So that was really nice. Thank you. I'll give it a shot. It sounds like a real indie band, which is really what I like to listen to the most. Okay. And then we've got, this is really cool. So this is a mallet. Look at that. This is by Mario Martinez, who makes these out of recycled plastics. This is, he calls this, this is a joiner's mallet. He said it's made with 100% upcycled materials, including recaptured HDPE plastic, and the handle is made from maple hardwood flooring that was removed for remodeling at a 24-hour fitness near him, after Hurricane Harvey. So recaptured in this sense means HDPE plastic that was manually gathered and not otherwise headed to a commercial recycling program. In other words, this tool represents 6 pieces of plastic that are not landfill. Every little bit helps. And so that's really cool. And I like the swirly patterns on it. And it's actually pretty heavy. He actually put the stats on here. This thing weighs 19.9 ounces. I love the fact that he set this on a scale, so I would know exactly how heavy this is. Maple out of the hardwood floor, Planet Fitness. I wonder if it still has all the sweat on it from people working out. Anyways, thank you, Mario. And let's see, I get a bunch of stickers. I don't think I'll, a lot of those I've already put on various places around the shop. This was sort of a recent one, Maker 328 or 238. Thank you. And okay, this is cool. You might have seen this sitting back here on my workbench there for a while. So this is from Jeremy Ebel. I'll just show it to you. now you're gonna have nightmares tonight. So this, Steve, my teenage daughter collects baby doll heads. Who doesn't? She painted this a couple of years ago for some odd reason. It's been on my desk for a while, and it occurred to me that you might like it for your spooky collection. I hope it doesn't shatter in the mail. No, it didn't shatter. It looks great. And Jeremy knows me. That is really creepy. But you know where I'm going to put it? I'm going to put it up in my window over there, so it can always be overlooking and haunting my shop, which I also have other things in my shop that haunt some viewers are haunted by the things that they see on the walls of my shop. And I kind of like that in a way. It's kind of like a low-key trolling. The Halloween projects, you know, some people don't like those very much, but I enjoy them. Okay, last one I wanted to share here. This is simply awesome. Okay, this is from B Hoffmeyer, just the initial B. I don't know what your first name is, but that's okay. Just wanted to share appreciation for what you do. I am not a beginning woodworker or an expert, in your channel and content has been very useful in my own projects. He enjoys making things. So I sent you some paintings I made, another of my hobbies. I tried my best to make them as tastefully creepy as possible. So thanks and enjoy them. If not, you won't hurt any feelings. No, I love these things. Okay, I got to show these to you. In fact, these are going to be going up on my wall. Look at this. Get this reflection off of it. So there's a spooky deserted island. And this one I think is really cool. Let me see if I can get it up here. How do I do this? I'm going the wrong way. There we go. I guess those are oils or acrylics. I'm not sure. I don't know how to tell the difference, but I love the tones of those. They've got blue tint. They've been color graded. So yeah, I'm definitely putting these up. These are exactly the kind of artwork that I just love. I tend to gravitate towards that sort of thing. So that's the mail. I want to thank also, oh, hey, there's a super chat, right? Hand tools only woodworker from the Netherlands. I've been following you for about 8 years. No power tools, but I enjoy your content. Hey, that's really cool. I think that there's like this whole, one thing that's emerging on YouTube is all of these sub genres, not just in woodworking, but in everything. That people are becoming more and more specialized. And I think that hand tool woodworking, although it's been around for a while, is growing in that, I guess, in that niche, you would call it. One of my favorites is Rex Kruger. He's fairly newish, I guess, on YouTube. I think he recently went full-time, making that his full-time gig. But as far as hand tool woodworkers, he's one of my favorites. But there's a lot of really cool hand tool woodworkers. And one of the things that I'm discovering, and I made a community post this morning asking for your recommendations for new woodworking channels or small woodworking channels. And the reason why is I follow lots and lots of woodworking channels, but right now there's thousands, literally thousands of woodworking channels. Some are very small, some are big. But I want to try to elevate some of these smaller ones and help give them a boost and at least see what they're doing, because one of the things I've been spending a lot of time on YouTube lately is seeking out small or new channels, and not just in woodworking, but in everything. And in a way, I feel like I'm kind of rediscovering YouTube and what it was back when it was still called Broadcast Yourself. And so it's really cool to see these small channels that are giving it a go. And a lot of them have no preconceived notions of becoming an enormous channels. They're just doing it because it's a passion project and they love making things. So I guess the best way to don't recommend your small channels here. I know I see some of you recommending it because I'm probably not going to, I think this chat might disappear. I'm not going to be able to find them. If you have a channel recommendation for a small or new woodworking channel, leave it on the community post. Just go to my channel and community. And today there was a post there, and then I can look through all those and I'll start going through and watching all of those. And another reason why I want to do that is because, and this is also why I'm not posting videos as frequently, is because I'm working on a big video right now. I'm calling it a documentary, but that sounds a little lofty, and I don't know if it's going to be that big, but it's growing. And so what this is I'm trying to shoot a documentary about the history, telling the story of woodworking on YouTube. Coming from somebody who's been doing this, I just started my 13th year now of making videos. But we have, let's see, YouTube started in 2005. So, we're in our 16th year of YouTube, and there's enough history there that I'm starting to see these patterns and see how woodworking and maker content has evolved. And so I thought this would be a really interesting story to tell. So I've been interviewing a lot of longtime YouTubers, content creators, and getting their take on the platform and how they're doing and how their channels have been doing and where they think YouTube is going. And it's just been a super exciting project for me. It's something totally different than I've ever done. And that's sort of what I kind of think woodworking for mere mortals has always been that way. I've always tried to keep changing it up a little bit. And, last year I was doing, a lot of people ask me what happened to lockdown woodworking. Well, lockdown is over for most people, I would assume. And I think that series, a lot of people joined the show then, but it's not, again, just my channel. Everybody experienced huge growth in 2020 while everybody was sitting at home. They needed something to watch. I had a huge, spike in sales of my courses, huge spike of subscribers and views on my YouTube channel. And a lot of that for me had to do with just producing those daily videos, which was a ton of fun to do. But I think I even might have mentioned it in the first video I posted that I didn't know how sustainable that was going to be. And it turned out it just wasn't. There was just no way I could possibly keep producing that content every day. It started to feel to me like it was getting stale the last few weeks I was doing it. And I kind of felt like, well, now I'm just talking and I'm not providing any real good content. Although the people watching it were awesome. And all of you who are watching the lockdown series, thank you so much. It was really cool to kind of develop that little family there. So yeah, I sort of miss doing those, but I also know that it's not really possible with this type of channel to just keep doing that. It takes a lot of work. And so, excuse me, I gotta get some water. This is just a monologue. Just one rambling monologue. So it was about at the beginning of this year is when I decided to, okay, I'm going to scale back on that. I'll start doing more woodworking videos. But then I was kind of talking myself out of like project videos because I'm also kind of in that funk where what else is there to make as far as a woodworking project that I haven't already done or that hasn't been done on 100 other channels? What more can I bring to this? So I thought it would be interesting to start doing more, a little bit more in-depth stuff, kind of like how to make a cutting board, really go into every single step of that process, including the design and everything. And so I think for a while, that's what I'm going to be doing as far as regular videos on the channel go. That and maybe more woodworking topics, trying to cover that a little bit more. Those are some of my ideas where I think I'm going to be going, at least for now, in this channel. I also have been doing the shorts, and I know they're like controversial. People either like them or you don't like them. I don't want to say love and hate. So, and I kind of get that. I posted a video on my second channel, my personal channel, kind of explaining my philosophy on shorts. And, the idea is that they're meant to be watched on a phone. And I think YouTube is kind of messing it up by even showing those in a feed on people who are watching YouTube on a desktop or a laptop. It doesn't make any sense because why do you want to watch a vertical video on a desktop? So, but I'm going to keep doing those shorts because I think that there's value in those, and it's something new. For me, it's a real challenge to try to cover some sort of a topic in basically 150 words or less and try to get that really concise. Hopefully some of those, and then they do really well. The performance, the numbers on those videos is outstanding. I think that's just because YouTube is really, really pushing those out right now. So I'm just going to kind of ride that for a little while, at least a little while longer, and see how they go. I think it's a good way to bring new viewers into the channel. Like once they find those, some of them might want to watch more of my videos. So that can't hurt. And the shorts that do the best are the ones that are like controversial somehow. And I'm not intentionally trying to make them controversial. It's just that it's like on a longer format video, I think I can explain myself better. And so, for instance, I did the one, probably the most popular one I've done has been several million views on it. And it's just the coping, doing a coping cut on a mitered baseboards inside corners. And so it's an old school technique. It's not like I invented it. It's been around for hundreds of years probably. And I thought I would just demonstrate how to do that. But the mistake I made was I should have used wood instead of the those pre-painted fiber boards, because obviously you wouldn't want to do it on that because you're just going to cut them and put some caulking in there. But as it turned out, that I'm glad I didn't, because that alone was enough to get people kind of going, why are you bothering to do all that work when you could just put caulk in there? And so I guess it turned out good. But those are the kind of shorts that do well. And the other one that did well recently was when I asked, why do 2x4s have rounded edges on them? And I honestly, I didn't think anybody was really going to watch that one. But then it turned out that it's like, I didn't fully answer the question, because I don't think there is an answer. I don't think anybody knows how that ever got started, the rounded edges on 2x4s. We know why. There's good reasons why they're there, and they're handy to have for various reasons. But I've never been able to get to the bottom of who started, why in the world would they have first started doing it, and why is it now just kind of an industry standard? Again, in 60 seconds, it was hard for me to get that point across. So I just left it like, ultimately nobody knows. And so I guess, you know, if you put a YouTube title, why does something, you have to answer it. And I didn't answer it. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because as it turned out, that video performed really well, because it's the most disliked video I've ever had on my YouTube channel. So shorts are an interesting experiment. I'll keep doing them for a while. I don't know, but mostly I'm trying to work on these longer format projects, and that's where I am. I'm trying to do the podcast also, which is a separate thing. And it's another one of those things that to me has been super exciting to work on that podcast, because it's not woodworking. It's totally unrelated. It's about YouTube. And so if you haven't listened to it, you should. It's Chad and Steve Have a Podcast is what the name of it is. And so we just talk with other YouTubers from all different genres and just talk about their experience on YouTube. And for me, it's got kind of that excitement of like 2008 YouTube was for me when I was first starting. I was thinking how exciting it was, and everything was all brand new. And this is the same way I have for that podcast. So I've got a lot of time that I'm putting into that, I think. So with that, and then working on this documentary, wow, I had no idea this was going to be such a huge thing. Do you know what I'm doing with this documentary also is it's forcing me to learn something new. I'm learning Adobe Premiere, because I've always used, what's it called? Vegas Movie Studio. For the past probably 10, 12 years, I've been using that, and I've gotten really good at it, but it just doesn't have all the features that I kind of want for this movie. So I decided, I just got to learn Premiere. I mean, I use all the other Adobe products. Why don't I just use this? So for me, it's kind of been a slow process. I did a kind of a test clip that I edited earlier this week. It was about a 2.5-minute clip, and I think it took me like 8 hours to do that thing, just fumbling around. But I'm learning Premiere, so that's really exciting. I was thinking about hiring an editor to do this project, but I think I can do it myself. And I think that I'll get it. I sort of have a vision of what I want this to look like. I was kind of inspired by, well, a couple of different things. One of the guests we had on our podcast was Jake Williams, who does Abandoned YouTube channel. The channel is called Bright Sun Films, but he has a series on there called Abandoned. And he documents these abandoned places, but he just shot this full-length feature documentary. And it just kind of inspired me to like, wow, this is so cool, because I just love watching documentaries, and just to hear his process was interesting. So that kind of inspired me. And then the other thing that inspired me, and as far as editing it myself, was Bo Burnham. And I don't know if you know Bo Burnham. Probably a lot of you do. Comedian, musician, YouTuber. He started out on YouTube when he was probably 16, I think, a long time ago. Probably about the same time I started, maybe even before. And of course, now he's film director, and he just had a special on Netflix called Bo Burnham Inside, which I think was one of the most amazing pieces of art to come out of the pandemic. And what he did was he recorded himself for a year inside during quarantine, did some comedy bits, did some music bits, but it was one of the most heartfelt things. I think that piece, that movie is probably going to, it's probably going to represent what lockdown was like for people in the future. They'll be able to watch that and kind of get a sense for what that was like for most of us. And I think it was probably the most honest portrayal of the lockdown. That and the horror movie Host that came out last year. But anyways, Bo Burnham, he wrote it, directed it, and edited it himself. And when I saw that, I'm like, why not? Why do I want to have somebody else try to do this that, you know, I'm just going to have to end up micromanaging it anyways. I try not to micromanage. Anyways, those were some of my thoughts on the YouTube channel, and I'm just going to keep growing it, and it's fun after this long of being on YouTube. I'm not so concerned with the numbers, I guess, as I think I once was. I think all YouTube channels have these peaks and valleys, and every time every YouTuber I've talked to, they go into one of these slumps where you don't get the views, people aren't really watching, and you think to yourself, this is it, the channel's dead. And then you do something to change it and it comes back up. And so it's just this series of ups and downs for every channel. And I think you just got to realize that there's going to be times when channel does well, and there's going to be times when the channel doesn't do well. But for me right now, it's more important to just be doing the kind of content that I think people are really going to enjoy and that I am proud of and that offers me a challenge. And so that's what I'm working on. I actually had some notes. I took notes of things that I was going to talk about. I forgot to plug the stickers when I was doing the mail. If you guys want a Woodworking for Mere Mortals sticker, just send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. There's I don't know if in this video in the description, if it's there or not. In most videos, there's my address in there that you can find it. It's not, it's a P.O. box. It's not even a P.O. box. It's just a box. But that's where you can just send me a self-addressed stamped envelope and I'll send you a sticker. And I've sent out thousands of those things, especially last year. You wouldn't believe the stacks of mail I got. It was really cool. You don't have to include a note. You don't have to say anything. And I'll just send those out to you. Be patient too. Sometimes it takes me a while to get those things sent out because they sit on my desk, and then I look at them and go, I got to go through that. And then I get busy doing something. So you will get them, and that's it. Let's see. Talked about the shorts, talked about my long form content, talked about the podcast. Don't forget the podcast. I hope you enjoy it. I really hope you give that podcast a shot. We're really trying to grow that podcast. It's difficult to get a podcast to grow. It's totally different than YouTube because you don't have any feedback. You don't have numbers really to look at other than downloads. And, you can't see like subscribers or anything. So in some ways, you just kind of are hoping for the best. I think what is appealing about that podcast is just the variety on it and just to listen to different people exploring different topics. And so like this week, we're going to be interviewing an interior designer. And so that show will be up next week. And it's just a really cool thing. But anyways, I'm plugging that too much. Let's see what else is. Father's Day is coming up. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Well, at least in the US, you might want to think about that. Just a reminder. And there was another thing we had on our podcast was Dad, How Do I? Rob Kinney. He's one of these COVID channels or a pandemic. I don't know what to call those channels that came out in 2020 and just skyrocketed. So that was really fun. That's the most recent show talking to him, but he's got a lot of dad jokes and stuff on that channel. That's it. That's what I got everything covered there. Let me see if I can go through some of these questions really quick. This is from South South Elgin Dad. Hey, Steve, been watching you for years. Really love the channel. I've learned so much and developed a fun hobby. Just wanted to say thanks. Hey, you're welcome. Thank you. I really appreciate all of that. Somebody said it has to get a, oops, I have this weird pop. Oh, sorry. This wouldn't happen if I had an assistant. Oh, okay, there we go. The comments are just too hard for me to read through. Some of you, yeah. And it's funny, the people who don't like the shorts always want to make it clear that they don't like the shorts. It's very important. Okay. What do you guys want? You want me to talk about movies for a minute? Hey, you want to know what my favorite movies of the year so far are? Let's see. So I keep these IMDb lists. I've got so many different lists. Okay, favorite films of 2021 so far. Bo Burnham, Inside, just mentioned that. Love that film. I really recommend watching that. It's on Netflix. And Nobody was fun. I liked Nobody with Bob Odenkirk. It's kind of a John Wick type of a story, kind of a revenge thing. Spontaneous. And here's what I'm doing, because every year I come out with my top 10 films list. I'm going to start making my top 10 films list include 18 months. So, because the problem is, if you do the top 10 films of 2021, a lot of these didn't get released until like May or something, but technically they came out maybe in 2020, like in August or September or something, or they were at a film festival, and I don't like the fact that sometimes I don't get to see them until, you know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is my top 10 films go back to 6 months back into the previous year. I don't know anybody else who does that, but I'm going to start doing that. And that's so I could include things like Spontaneous, which I thought was hilarious and weird. And it's about these high schoolers who, this high school, all of a sudden the kids just start spontaneously combusting. They just start popping. So it's sort of a rom-com, dark comedy kind of thing. News of the World with Tom Hanks, one of my favorites. Let's see. And this, okay, so this is like my top 2. Before I get to that, Quiet Place Part 2, excellent. If you saw Quiet Place Part 1, you will love Part 2. It takes place immediately after that one. Okay, so my absolute 2 favorite films of the year are The Father with Anthony Hopkins. Again, that's another one that technically came out in 2020, but I'm including it this year. It's devastating. It's really painful to watch. He plays this man with Alzheimer's, and the whole movie I've never seen a movie like it that's told through his eyes. So usually movie where you see somebody with dementia, it's like everybody else and how they react to him, and he doesn't remember things. But this one, they tried to show what it was like for him. So sometimes, like, his daughter was played by like a separate actress sometimes because he didn't recognize her, and it's just a really interesting way of making a movie. But it was fantastic, and Anthony Hopkins is the best. And then my favorite movie of the year is Saint Maud. I don't think anything's going to top that for me. It's the perfect horror film. It is. I consider that hard horror, in that it's made specifically to unnerve you and to scare you. There's nothing. They're not trying to do it tongue in cheek. They're not trying to do it lighthearted. It's just serious. Boom, goes for it. And it's short too. It's like an hour and 24 minutes long. So anyways, those are some movie recommendations for you. And let's see. There's a lot of comments here. I'm going to put a couple guys on timeout. Good. Somebody just subscribed to the podcast. Thank you. And okay, this is a good question from me. I don't know how to say it. Would you ever consider just expanding your skill level? The only reason it begins feeling stale is because it's the same: dados, pocket screws, pine, spray lacquer. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously, I think that's a question that probably every educator faces at some point is, if you teach kindergarten, is there ever a time when you think, I'm just not growing because I want to learn more? When you probably already do know that, but you every year you get a new group of students in who are trying to learn, and so you're there for them. And I think the longer you're there teaching basic skills, the better you get at teaching basic skills. I don't think that a person who is brand new to woodworking, learning basic skills, or even has done it for a couple of years, would be good at teaching basic skills. And so that's kind of where I am. The whole channel is built around teaching beginning woodworking. And yeah, I know people are going to want to graduate beyond that. And that's why there's thousands of other YouTube channels to do that. So I pretty much stay in that lane of picking up new people who are interested in woodworking and I set out to teach them the fundamental things that they need to know from my point of view over years of doing this to get them started in woodworking. And hopefully they can, it's easy for them to learn that way rather than just trying to find, here's a beginner tip on one channel and here's one on another channel and all these different sources, and just having a sort of a one-stop shop for learning woodworking. That's why I created the courses, really, the Weekend Woodworker courses, is just so that there would be a single place where you could learn, from the very beginning. You've never touched any power tool or any tool at all, and then you can actually start to grow from there. And that's where my channel thrives. I think that in the past, when I was doing more, in the early days of this channel, when I would do more complex stuff and explore different types of joinery and that sort of thing, those videos don't really perform well because it's not what this channel is. I want people to know when they come to Woodworking for Mere Mortals, when you see that channel page, that you know exactly what you're getting into. So yeah, I'm probably not going to ever showcase any, huge spikes in skill levels or anything. It's kind of like a CNC machine. I've had plenty of offers from companies who want to send me CNCs, and yeah, it would be a blast to have one. I would love to play with that. I'd love to play around with like a laser cutter, but it doesn't fit this brand. I would have to have a place to put it where I could use it, but I wouldn't make videos of it because it's not what I do. So, that's sort of where it is. It's sort of, I don't know. It's like every company who has a signature product kind of needs to stay doing. That's why, McDonald's is always going to have the Big Mac, and they're always going to have those fries. They may experiment with a couple of little things here and there, but you just know that you're not going to get a lobster meal there ever. And that's where that is. But that's a good question. I get asked that a lot. And let's see. Maybe a new channel for Woodworking for Advanced Gods. That's a good name. Or just Immortals. That was sort of why I picked the name of this channel, really, was just because this is back before, this is one of the things I'm going to be covering in that documentary. All of the things, when I started YouTube, we didn't have a history of other YouTubers to build on to know what a woodworking video was going to look like. So guys like me and Frank Howarth and Mark Spagnolo, the earliest ones on the platform, and Matthias Wandel. For a lot of us, the only exposure we had to woodworking was on television, and that would have been Norm Abram, Roy Underhill, and a couple other shows that were highly polished and kind of stuck to the exact same format. It was personality based, which was good, but and that's where I came up with the name of this show, was because I was kind of tired of those. I thought there's got to be a better way to do woodworking than just this half-hour format of kind of boring, especially now looking back on some of those shows that they were kind of dull in a way. I don't know. I mean, I love Roy Underhill and Norm Abram. I think what they did was great at the time, but now it just seems, I don't even know where I would watch that now. I'm not even sure how to watch. I assume there might be some of those shows still on. I'm not sure, because I don't even know how to watch PBS anymore. I guess you could do it online. I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. Chris Watt, wow, thank you. Sending huge thanks for Los Gatos. Hey, sort of neighbor, for inspiring me to start the life-changing hobby of woodworking. Looking forward to watching the channel grow and evolve. Hey, Chris, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Los Gatos, we used to pass through there when we went to Santa Cruz to visit Ohio. It's like up in just south of Santa Cruz, or not Santa Cruz, San Jose. And who else? Fox says, love the channel. Thanks for all the hard work you do to bring woodworking to us mere mortals. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. And how did you come up with the Micro Jig Intros? They're gold every single time. Well, I haven't done those in a few years, but also check out my community tab. And there's a link I posted earlier this week for some guy a year ago made a compilation of all of those Micro Jig intros that I did. It's fantastic. I don't know how nobody told me about it. I didn't know about this until just last week, and it's the coolest thing. But go watch that, and it's weird to see. And there's a couple of those intro gags I actually repeated. I didn't realize I had repeated them, but I don't know. Those were also, they were kind of, I would shoot those at the very last thing after I'd already done the video, and I was all edited, and then I'd be like, oh crap, I forgot to do the Micro Jig thing. So I'd have to sit and think, what can I do that's sort of related? And that's why some of them are better than others. Let me see if I can tackle a woodworking question here from Kevin. I'm pretty new, and my table saw cuts tend to come out concaved. My fence and blade are within 0.02 of an inch on the miter. Any idea what might be going on? Oh, hey, look at that. I didn't know I could do that. Did you see that? If I'd known that, I would have been doing this all along. I can just click on that and it shows up right here. Wow. It's all a learning process. Table saw cuts tend to come out concaved. I'm assuming this way, like you're running the board through like this and somehow it's gouging in. That's a new one. My fence and the blade are within 2/100ths of an inch to the miter. Okay, you've stumped me. If anybody's got an answer to that, let me know. And I don't know how to get rid of that now. Now it's sorry, Kevin, your question's going to be on there forever now. Maybe I just have to pick somebody else. I don't know how to clear that. This is what 13 years of YouTube gets you. Fumbling around on a live stream. Okay, here's some answers. Oh, wait. Kevin, look at this. Kevin clarified 2/1000ths of an inch. That's way too accurate for woodworking. I get down to like 1/16 of an inch, close enough. Let's see. I'm trying to see if anybody had any answers for Kevin. Not really seeing anything. Hopefully, Kevin, you'll find some answer to there. It's an interesting question. Okay. Kevin's concave cuts are now immortal. See, I can't get rid of them. I just have to kick something. Look, watch this. Boom. You know what? I should just like put everybody's comments on there. Here we go. Evil Llama. Steve, is your shop climate controlled? No, I have a door and I've got a garage door, but where I live, the weather is pretty much the same year round. We're in a drought right now. And so it doesn't ever get really cold, doesn't ever get really hot, just kind of the, oh, here's a possible answer. My jet did that. I assume a jet saw brand. There was a bump off the lockdown part, filed it down and folded. I don't know if there's a bump on the lockdown part of the fence. Any opinions on when the price of lumber will come back down? No, I'm getting kind of tired of hearing it though. I think it is starting to come back down. It's frustrating. I agree. From everything I've been reading, is it will come down. It's starting to, but I don't know anything about the commodities markets. Oh, here's another possible answer for Kevin. Why can't I click on it? Oh, here we go. Look at that. I bet your feeding is the issue. I would say if you compress the boards into the fence more evenly, that's assuming that as someone expecting your fence isn't flexing. Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay, so the fence itself could be flexing. It seems unlikely for a rip fence to flex, but it could be the way you're feeding it. If that board isn't completely pressed up against the fence, I could see that happening. I could see you feeding the board through concave. I guess if you were feeding the board through and it kind of came out and then back in a little bit, that might happen. That would be more convex. I guess it depends on which way you look at it. Another advice, try running your boards against a 4-foot level. Try an auxiliary fence and strengthen it. See, everybody has great answers. Does Kevin need a micro jig? This has become the Kevin show. All right. Anyways, I'm going to, I wish there was a way to remove, oh wait. Let's see if that removes it. No, I don't know how to remove the comments now. We'll just leave that one on there. All right, we've been doing this for almost 45 minutes now, and I'm completely running out of things to talk. I can just, you know what, I hear those sounds. It's click, click, click. These are all people clicking away from this video. Like, that's enough. He's not talking about anything. Wait, one more. Kevin needs more money. I don't even know. He's probably responding to another comment. Here's another one. Clamp down the back of the fence and do a test cut to see. Oh, that's a good idea too. Yeah, see, everybody has good ideas. I don't understand how those would be convex though. It seems like you would get, I don't know. Maybe. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you all for watching this scattered podcast. I'm glad I got to go through the mail. Thank you all for sending me that stuff. And don't forget, send me a self-addressed stamped envelope if you'd like a Woodworking for Mere Mortal sticker, and I'll send that out. I love hearing from all of you. And don't forget to check out the community tab and leave a comment there with some good, new, or very small woodworking channels that I should check out. All right. Thanks, everybody. And I will talk to you later.